It was June 2000. Sydney was crowded and busy preparing for the Olympic Games. I decided to start a journey to experience what Australians call the outback. I travelled southwest, through Canberra, then to Adelaide, the capital of South Australia. On the way to Coober Pedy in Adelaide, I met an Aboriginal woman from Kukata Arabana land. She is the youngest member of the Kunga Tuta. Rebecca told me stories of the atomic tests which were carried on her people's land while they were still living in the area.
A lot of people know that nuclear bombs have been exploded in Australia, but what they don't know is that it was actually coming up to 47 years ago. I didn't know about the devastation that it can cause, how toxic it is and how it can destroy your life. I knew that these bombs had been going off in the desert, but I didn't realise how closely affected I would become, because firstly my mum was under that test, and secondly I've got major health problems.
Same red, red, high and carbon, just take and go away.
Eileen Brown and the other Kungas live in Coober Pedy, a town famous for opal mines in South Australia. This council of women are campaigning against uranium mine and dumping. I went to Arabana land to meet Kevin Buzzacott, elder and traditional owner of Lake Eyre, a giant salt lake which was full of water for the first time in 40 years. Kevin had come back to his land to protect the lake, the sacred mound spring and the ancient spirit of his land, from the devastation caused by one of the biggest uranium mines in the world. Roxby Downs takes up 42 million litres a day from the Great Artesian Basin to process the uranium. Uranium and other minerals are the most valuable resources in South Australia, and mining companies have come into conflict with the traditional culture's responsibility to care for the land. Radioactive waste of water is returned to the land and poses a big health risk for humans and animals. Kevin established a camp on the southern shore of Lake Eyre and was joined by environmental activists from a group called Keepers of Lake Eyre.
The mound springs are sacred. They've been created by our people as well as different animals. Lake Eyre itself, the whole basin, is very sacred. The water that they take is very sacred. It symbolises our people's spirits as well as the animal spirits, and that's getting mixed up with uranium, and then it turns into a bomb and is used in all them other countries.
Kevin organised Walking the Land for Our Ancient Right, a peace walk to travel from Lake Eyre to Sydney, carrying a sacred fire and a message of peace to the Olympic Games in Sydney. Elders from many tribes attended the opening ceremony of the walk. The Coober Pedy Kunga Tuta blessed the walk with traditional songs and dance. Isabel Coe brought ashes from the peace fire which has been burning continuously for 3 years at the Aboriginal Tent Embassy in Canberra.
So I'm very, very lucky that I found out about this peace walk That's a big walk that's going from Lake Eyre in South Australia all the way to Sydney over a period of 3 months.
We need to bring our people together, and we need to bring non-Aboriginal people in with us. And it's like Uncle Kevin has always said, we can take everyone home, but they've got to listen to us. The land is our mother, our grandmother, our grandfather. We all come from the land. We go back to the land. We can't put money, it's not a monetary thing, a financial thing on our land, because it's a spiritual thing. We've got the oldest religion in the world. This is the oldest continent, the oldest culture. And even right now, they don't know where we fit in.
People from all over the world have joined the Peace Walk. The walk passed through towns and communities, collecting stories and messages to take to Sydney.
In the desert, we're walking around. In the desert,
We worked out that we'll walk from Lake Eyre, shores of Lake Eyre, to Sydney to carry what we call a peace fire, because our totem and everything, fire, it means a lot to us. Let the old spirit and old country know we're doing something about it. That's why people like us have to do this walk.
We're from Holland. We come a long way to be here, and I feel it's really important because we come from the culture that is so dominant here. One thing I noticed in Australia is to see firsthand how deep rooted the racism is. It's such a fresh colony, and you can just taste the whole colonial attitude of so many people.
across this land, in the desert.
We feel that our lands have been taken, stolen, and then laws put in place for this regime or society to hold it and to keep us away from our land. Now we can share. What's wrong with sharing? We were here first. Everyone knows that in the world, even the people who may not know much about the history of Australia. It's time for all of us to stand up. Every single person on this planet needs to stand up to these giant companies and corporate companies who are destroying Mother Earth for the one thing, the almighty dollar.
This should be the true flag of Australia because it represents all the people of Australia.
In a desert, across this land.
Walking is that you get to see everything slowly. You'll see that ant that's going back to its family.
Nobody understands.
Working with Kevin and other Aboriginal people at the Aboriginal Tent Embassy, I've come to see what an immense struggle it is, how much pain and suffering that they're going through. Apart from, like Kevin wanting to protect his lake that he was born to do. He was born to caretake that lake, and he can't stand back and watch it be destroyed. But he hasn't just got the lake, he's got the people.
When you laid in the sun down, looked like a sleeping flower.
Every night we set up a new camp and warmed ourselves by a fire.
Grown strong and gleaming it shone and showered the ancient river, but dreaming while 3 crows they wandered and wept and slept in the smiling sound, teardrops spinning in my hand. So we walked and we talked briefly, 'cause we were absorbed.
We left the desert to join the Adyamatna people of the Flinders Ranges. They are opposing the Beverley uranium mine and try to protect the ancient rocks from any mining.
This land is in the Flinders Range, we think a lot of it, because this is of course land. The Flinders is dreaming. Flinders is dreaming, because the spirit still carries on. Dead is dead, and the spirit still carries on.
Mining of coal, gold, magnesium are transforming the landscapes. Young Indigenous people are fighting to maintain their traditional culture and preserve traditional land from mining.
I'm from the Adyamatna people of the Flinders Ranges. This is my yucca. All this land here is my country, all my people's country. Our people walk around on the land like nature. We was put here like a kangaroo and a bird, but that's the way we think. We don't take from the earth. We take from the earth what we need. You know? We don't take this mineral and take it and give it to someone for money. You know? That's no good.
In the last 4 years, Australia's seen the largest expansion of uranium mining that it's ever seen. Along with that is plans for a new nuclear reactor in suburban Sydney, as well as a proposal for a waste dump in South Australia for radioactive waste. The walk that's happening from Lake Eyre to Sydney symbolises two movements that are progressing and building in parallel in Australia. The support for Indigenous land rights and sovereignty over and control over their land, along with a renewed movement against nuclear issues. The walk symbolises, I guess, the joining of those two groups together for environmentalists walking with Indigenous communities across the land to take a strong message to Sydney, which is the Olympic Games, which provides a spotlight on Australia for internationally, and so that message is being taken across right across Australia.
The ancestral spirit live in the land, in the rocks, in the plants and in the animals. They must be respected. Walking the land is a great opportunity to learn and understand this respect. The walk followed an ancient dreaming track along the Darling River to Moree, then south all the way to Canberra, capital of Australia. Here at the Aboriginal Tent Embassy, we met a group of American Indians who had organised a sacred run around Australia. They had carried ashes from the peace fire for 1,400 kilometres with a message: all life is sacred.
I come out here to carry the message that all life is sacred, you know, across the land, that I'm running for all Indigenous people across the lands, and just to show them that young people, you know, that are still running strong and they ain't all involved in alcohol and drugs.
Thai Buddhist monks welcomed us to the monastery in Bundanoon on our way to Sydney.
Many animals live down nearby.
So many cultures and people joined the walk with a message of peace and healing.
It's an anti-nuclear sign, and it's Australia, and there's rainbow colours. We don't want our Earth to be penetrated with disease anymore.
Uncle Kevin has brought the peace torch, the flame, and it'll be a great thing for Australia. I mean, yeah, the Aboriginal people as well as everyone else, and the outside country is beginning to see what we are and what we're doing, and they've all come from overseas to help join us and become all one, and that's something that I want my grandkids to see and hear.
3,050 kilometres has been covered by foot. The walk arrived at Kurnell on the 2nd of September 2000. It was here on the shore of Botany Bay that Captain Cook first landed in 1770. Here, the sacred water from Lake Eyre joined the Pacific Ocean, and the peace fire reached its final destination.
Sea, like I say, to the sea. This is Botany Bay. It goes around here to the...
Drops of water turn the wheel, singly none. Step by step the longest walk shall be won. Many stones to build an arch, singly none, and by union what we...
On the 3rd of June, the walk joined the Aboriginal Tent Embassy, who had moved from Canberra to Sydney. This embassy has been operating for 28 years in front of the Parliament House as a continuing reminder of the treatment of Aboriginals in Australia.
I'm doing it on my part to come down and help the brothers and sisters with this healing smoke today, to hope to get them on the right path.
Aboriginal land! Come on, Auntie Pat!
We're the owners! Welcome you, welcome!
Walks through the city were organised during the Olympic Games to focus media attention on Aboriginal issues.
Aboriginal land! He walked all the way from Lake Eyre. Aboriginal land! Aboriginal land!
for your help.
A reenactment of Captain Cook Landing was performed at Kurnell. We had the honour of coming in the right way. We received a traditional welcome to this ancient and beautiful country from the traditional owners.
If we're ever going to find peace on heaven and earth again, then we have to break through, and this is the year. This is what part of this walk is about. And now it's truth time, and we're asking that all other countries come forward, go to UN, tell the rest of the world to get behind us and support us, and so we can make full peace.
Well, it's 1 for the greed, 2 for the dough, 3 for the mining, so go, Kev, go, he's walking, walking for healing and peace. And he carries the torch from Lake Eyre to Sydney. Well, the Olympic torch starts at Uluru, but there's another torch with a message for you. From Erebunna land, Kevin Buzzacott. He's on a mission that's hot, hot, hot. He's walking, walking for healing and peace. Ooh. And he carries a torch from Lake Eyre to Sydney. Well, it's a walk for the black, a walk for the white. Aboriginal sovereignty, that's what's right. The history books, you know they lie. What they're really all about was